Hello and welcome to English with Cheri, the podcast where we help you speak English in real, everyday situations. I'm your host, Cheri, and I'm so happy you're here today.
And I'm Nick, Cheri's co-host, and, well, I guess I'm the one who always asks the questions everyone is thinking but is too shy to ask.
That's actually a really good description of you, Nick. So today's topic is something a lot of English learners feel. And honestly, even some native speakers feel this too. Today, we're talking about phone calls. Specifically, why so many people are afraid to talk on the phone in English.
Oh yes, the phone call. Just thinking about it, I can feel that little nervous feeling. And I speak English every day, so I totally understand why this is hard for people who are learning.
Right, and if you are a beginner or elementary learner, maybe A1 or A2 level, this episode is especially for you. We're going to talk about why phone calls feel scary, what to say in common situations, and we'll even do a little role play so you can hear a real example. So, let's get started.
Okay, so Cheri, let me ask you something. When did you first notice that people are really afraid of phone calls in English? Was there a moment where you thought, oh, this is a real problem?
Well, yes, actually. I remember a student of mine. She was really good at writing in English. She could send emails, she could chat online, no problem. But one day, she had to call a hotel to make a reservation, and she told me she just couldn't do it. She sat by the phone for 30 minutes and then sent an email instead.
30 minutes? I get it though. I really do. The thing is, a phone call is so different from writing a message. When you write, you have time to think. You can check a dictionary, you can change your words, but on the phone, everything happens so fast.
Right. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons people feel nervous, the pressure to respond quickly. When someone asks you a question on the phone, there's silence, and that silence feels very uncomfortable. You feel like you need to answer right now. You don't have 30 seconds to think.
Totally. And okay, so there's another big thing. You can't see the person's face. Like when you talk to someone in person, you can see their expression. You can see if they understand you. You can see if they look confused. But on the phone, nothing. You just hear a voice.
That's such a good point. Facial expressions, body language, these things help us understand a lot. When we can't see them, communication feels harder. And honestly, even just reading someone's lips a little bit helps. On the phone, you lose all of that.
And then there's the fear of not understanding. Like, what if the other person speaks too fast? What if they use a word you don't know? What if the connection is bad and you can't hear clearly? I think that fear of I won't understand is really, really common.
So common. And you know what? That's okay. That fear is completely normal. Even advanced learners feel it sometimes. The important thing is we have tools. We have phrases we can use to help us when we don't understand. And we're going to talk about those phrases very soon. But first, let's talk about when people usually need to make phone calls in English, because I think it helps to know what are the most common situations.
Oh, good idea. So, what are the most common phone call situations for, let's say, everyday life?
Well, I think the most common ones for beginners are calling a restaurant to make a reservation, calling a shop to ask what time it closes, and calling a doctor's office to make an appointment. These three situations come up a lot in daily life.
Right. And honestly, those three calls, they're actually pretty similar in structure. They all follow a kind of pattern. You call, someone answers, you say why you're calling, you get the information or make the booking, and then you say goodbye. It's not random, it's quite predictable.
Yes, and that's actually really good news for learners, because if you know the pattern, you can prepare. You can even write down what you want to say before you pick up the phone. That's something I always recommend. Before you pick up the phone, write 2 or 3 sentences, just the key things you need to say.
That's such a practical tip. No one is going to know you have notes. You're on the phone, so write it down. Prepare.
There's no shame in that at all.
Absolutely none. Okay, so let's now talk about some really useful phrases. These are phrases you can use in many different phone calls. Vic, should we go through them one by one?
Yes, let's do it. I love this part.
Okay, so the first situation is when you answer a phone call. So someone calls you. What do you say? Well, in English, a very simple and polite way is to say, hello, this is, and then your name. For example, hello, this is Maria. That's it. Short, clear, polite. Or if someone asks, is this Maria? You can simply say, speaking. Just one word, speaking. It means, yes, this is me. I am the person you are calling.
Oh, I love that one. Speaking. It sounds so professional, right? And it's just one word. Beginners can absolutely do that. One word.
One word, yes. Okay, so the next really important phrase, and I think this is the one learners need most, is what to say when you don't understand something. So the person on the phone says something, and you think, wait, what? I didn't catch that. What do you say?
Oh, I know this one. You say, sorry, could you say that again? Right?
Exactly. Sorry, could you say that again? That is so useful, and it's polite. You start with sorry, which shows you are being respectful. Then, could you say that again is a polite question, not a demand. And there's another version. Could you speak more slowly, please? So if the person is talking very fast, you can ask them to slow down. That's completely fine to ask. People will not be upset. They want to help you.
That's so true, and I think learners sometimes feel embarrassed to ask someone to repeat. They think, oh, the other person will be annoyed. But honestly, in my experience, most people are happy to repeat. They want the conversation to work too.
Completely agree. And you know, it's much better to ask them to repeat than just to say yes, yes, without understanding. That can cause real problems later. So always ask if you're not sure. It's the smart thing to do.
Right. So what are the other phrases? I think there's one about asking someone to wait.
Yes, so if you need a moment, maybe you need to find a pen or look at your calendar or just think for a second, you can say, could you hold on a moment? Hold on means wait. So, could you hold on a moment is a very polite way to say, please wait just for a little bit. And then when you come back, you can say, sorry about that. Thank you for waiting.
Could you hold on a moment? I think that's a phrase that sounds really natural, like it doesn't sound stiff or weird. It sounds like a real person says every day.
It really does. And then finally, how do you end a call? Well, the simplest way is just, thank you so much, goodbye. Very clear, very warm. Or if you know the person and you'll talk again soon, you can say, talk to you soon. That's a friendly, casual way to end.
Talk to you soon. I say that all the time. It's so natural. Okay, so Cheri, can we do the role play now? I think hearing a full example is so helpful, like putting all the phrases together in a real conversation.
Yes, let's do it. So the situation is this. You want to have dinner at a restaurant on Saturday. You need to call and make a reservation. A reservation means you book a table in advance. You call the restaurant and you say, I want to come on this day at this time for this many people. Simple. Nick, you play the person calling. I'll be the restaurant. Okay, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Hello, thank you for calling Bella Cucina. How can I help you?
Hello, I'd like to make a reservation, please.
Of course. What day and time would you like?
Saturday evening at 7 p.m., please, for 2 people.
Saturday at 7 for 2. Great. Can I get your name, please?
Sorry, could you say that again, please?
Of course. Can I get your name, please?
Yes, my name is Nick. N-I-C. Nick.
Perfect, Nick. Your reservation is confirmed. Saturday at 7 p.m. for 2 people. We'll see you then.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, and scene. So, listeners, did you notice what happened there? I didn't understand the question the first time. So I used the phrase, sorry, could you say that again, please? And the person at the restaurant, she repeated the question. No problem.
See, it works.
It really does work. And the whole call was maybe 30 seconds. It wasn't long, it wasn't complicated. The sentences were short, the vocabulary was simple, you said what you needed, you got the answer, and you ended politely. That's all a phone call needs to be.
I think that's something learners forget. A phone call doesn't have to be long or perfect. You just need to communicate your main point. That's the goal. Not perfect English, just clear communication.
Beautifully said, Nick. So let's talk about how to actually get better at this. Because knowing the phrases is one thing, but building confidence takes practice. So what are some good ways to practice phone English?
Well, okay, so my number one tip is to listen to recordings of phone calls. And I know what you're thinking. Where do I find those? Well, actually, there are a lot of English learning podcasts and YouTube videos that have example phone call dialogues. Listen to them. Listen to how people speak, what phrases they use, how they begin and end. Just absorb it.
That's great advice. And I would add practice out loud. I think this is so important and so many people skip it. They read the phrases with their eyes, but they don't say them out loud. And speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth needs to practice the words. So say them out loud, at home, alone, in the shower. Nobody is listening. Just say the phrases over and over.
In the shower is honestly one of my favorite places to practice anything. You just feel free, no judgment. I think there's something to that. And you know there are also apps now that let you practice speaking English. Some of them even simulate phone calls, so you can have a conversation with an AI, practice your phrases, and there's zero pressure because it's just an app.
Yes, apps are a wonderful tool. And another idea is to start with very simple, low-stakes calls. For example, calling a business to ask what time they close. That's maybe a 10-second phone call. Hello, what time do you close today? We close at 8. Thank you, goodbye. Done. It's small, it's quick, and every time you do it successfully, your confidence grows a little bit.
That's the thing, right? It's like building a muscle. You don't start at the gym and lift the heaviest weight. You start small and build up. Phone calls are the same. Start with easy calls, then maybe try a reservation, then maybe a doctor's appointment, step by step.
Step by step. I love that. And one more thing I want to say to our listeners. It's okay to feel nervous. Honestly, it is totally okay. Even people who are fluent in English sometimes feel nervous before a phone call. The goal is not to feel zero fear. The goal is to make the call anyway. And every time you do, it gets a little easier.
That is such a good point to end on. And I want to remind everyone, the phrases we talked about today, write them down. Keep them somewhere close to your phone. Hello, this is speaking. Sorry, could you say that again? Could you speak more slowly, please? Could you hold on a moment? And thank you so much. Goodbye. Those phrases will take you very far.
Yes, write them down, say them out loud, and then make that call. You can do it. I believe in you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to English with Cheri. It really means a lot to us that you spend your time with us.
It really does. And hey, if today's episode helped you, please share it with a friend who is also learning English. That would mean the world to us. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, a situation where you're not sure what to say in English, let us know. We'd love to make an episode just for you.
And remember, learning a language is a journey. Every small step counts. Every phone call you make, every new phrase you learn, you are moving forward. So keep going. We are rooting for you. I'm Cheri.
And I'm Nick. Thanks for listening to English with Cheri. We'll talk to you soon.